my young friends and all my colleagues for such a wonderful time that I spent since night before, and I've been here for more than 24 hours and really very, very enjoyable time I spent here. I will envy you, all of you who stay here, who work here, who spend longer time than what I did on this campus. And just now, when these young leaders were felicitated, they're giving a Tulsi tree, right? I don't think a Tulsi tree is needed on this campus. Because Tulsi normally has to supposed to take a negativity away. Here so much of positivity, why do you need Tulsi here? So this is a very pious, interesting place with right ethos, kind of infrastructure that many would only hope they have, and the kind of dedicated faculty, the people who founded it, the founders, one of them is here. And I think this is the right kind of a setting for all of you to really start your life journey together. My dear friend and the Vice Chancellor was telling me, you should speak about your journey to you. I said, it's the wrong thing to do because I'm finishing my journey. And how can I talk to those who are going to begin their journey? And begin the journey in a place which is the right place to start your own life mission. As we always say, well begun is half done. So therefore you are at the right place, right campus, right people are actually guiding you, mentoring you, and you are in the right country at the right time. I'm much older than you, all of you. I mean, all of you, I can say without exception. In the next 3 months, I'll be 70. Not being a young boy or young girl, I need not hide my age anymore. In any case, even if I hide, you can always find out from internet. Just, oh, you lied. You said you so many years. So, I've seen India when people used to look down upon us. People will say, you are Indian means like that. Today, India has attained a place of pride in the whole global community. I will not say whole world is enamored by India. That's the wrong statement. I will also not say that we have become a superpower. That will be absolutely wrong way to say that. But what we are right now, where we are on the way of achieving and realizing our own potential. We are becoming a confident country of confident people. And that is all because of what? Because of people of India. See, India's story is people-driven story. India's story is not unlike China. China has actually happened, Chinese growth, unbelievable growth. China is nowhere in the global history, any time in economic history of any country in the world, that country has become $18 trillion in such a short period of time. And if you go by some other parameters, China is already ahead of US. In terms of foreign exchange reserves, in terms of production, in terms of exports, in terms of volume of international trade. And now, worrying thing for us is in terms of filing intellectual properties. China is still second, but all filing intellectual property is happening at a rapid rate. And when you have intellectual property today, that means your future is secured. See, when you are doing something, an invention today, that means the amortization of that will happen over a longer period of time. And you are actually preparing a future. So China has achieved that. But India, unlike China, is not state-driven economy. It's all individuals of India, people of India who have made it possible. And therefore, once you start unleashing that hidden talent within ourselves, we'll realize what we are. And we stop looking down upon ourselves. See, why do people look down upon you? When you don't have confidence in yourself. When you don't respect yourself, how do you expect others to respect you? If you don't respect, मैं तो कुछ भी नहीं कर सकता, तो लाइफ में कुछ भी नहीं कर पाएंगे. मैं कहूंगा मैं कुछ कर सकता हूं, उसका मतलब नहीं मैं कुछ भी हासिल कर सकता हूं, लेकिन संभावना तो बढ़ेगी और जो मेरे पास करने की काबिलियत है वो तो बाहर आएगी. तो आई थिंक वी आर एट द राइट कंट्री, एज आई सेड, एट द राइट टाइम. सो राइट इंस्टीट्यूशन, राइट यूनिवर्सिटी, राइट टाइम, राइट पीपल. सो जब भी कहते हैं सब कुंडली देखने के बाद सब अच्छा है, लेकिन मंगल जरा रॉन्ग पोजीशन में आ गया था, तो आज वो मंगल भी हमारे अच्छे पोजीशन में है. सो आई थिंक वी आर रियली एट द राइट टाइम, and therefore I wish you really a great success in your individual endeavors. I always tell people, because my I mean, we are very impressed with the way you are actually comparing it, really very impressive. And she was telling me speak about otherwise. I'm not going to speak about any of that for a reason, is that you know more than what I know. And number one, I'm really telling you this, don't get me wrong. People ask me many times, give advice. So I said, my best advice to people is, don't take anybody's advice. And I'll tell you the reason for that. I'm saying it with a purpose. I'm not saying don't take anybody's advice. You should take advice. You go to a doctor, you must take medical advice. You go to a lawyer, you must take legal advice. You don't know how many career options are available, you must take career counselor's advice. You must do all that. You must take architect's advice to construct a building. You must do all that. You must take your parents' advice. No one else can help you better than your own parents anytime in life. So you must do all that. But I'm saying personal, what you want to do yourself, only you can know. Nobody else can know. And therefore, if you don't follow your own mind, you'll never realize your own potential. I have always said this, but there's Paulo Coelho, no? That one who wrote, that Brazilian writer. He said, pursue your own dreams. I've read most of his books. I forget now the titles. And this one was very interesting, which is just a shepherd becoming and is pursuing something. Point is, once you start knowing yourself better, then only you know what path you should take in future. And knowing oneself better, nobody can give advice. How can somebody tell you know yourself better in this particular way? So this is where, in fact, if you really look at it, you started a program with a prayer by closing eyes. I think start your life with open mind. Started a prayer, we have to close eyes, but now you must do it with keep eyes open to look at opportunities, but also keep your mind open, that's more important. And in fact, if you really look at it, our philosophy, the spiritualism that we all talk about, and something to do difference between spiritualism is not to do with ritual. This is something much beyond it. And that spiritualism, what does it teach us? And particularly our own ancient philosophy, which is tried and tested because it has come from thousands of years of distilled ideas. What does it teach you? That knowing you is more important, and for knowing you, you do meditation. That's why you close eyes. Of course, there is some form of meditation. You keep eyes open and do it. That doesn't matter how you do it, as long as you can really know your mind through this process of meditation. But today, I think you are in the right place, as I said, and the entrepreneurship, which some of you are learning, you cannot learn entrepreneurship actually. But your mind can be trained, and so many ideas can be fine-tuned. So many wrong notions can be dispelled through this process of learning that you're doing here. Sometimes we all believe, because we read one book of how the G was successful. So Jacques Welch wrote that book, how he was successful. And then subsequently, Jeff Immelt, during his time, the company almost melted. There was nothing wrong with Jeff Immelt, actually. What he did was nothing wrong. But he had so many businesses that he could not. For now, the G has become in 5 companies. So G is no longer one company now. So different verticals have been spun off, different companies have been made. But point is, if you had followed the same model, what first G had thought about, then he is no longer in Fortune 500, is not even maybe in Fortune 10,000. Or it may not be even in Fortune because the fortune has gone. So it may not be in any fortune list. But why it happened? Because we thought then only there is one successful model. There is only one way we can succeed. And that's one of the biggest flaw that we have in our own ideas, that we can pursue one thing and therefore success. अभी गुप्ता साहब ने बचपन स्कूल चालू किया तो मैं भी जाके बचपन स्कूल करूँगा. वो मेरा बचपना होगा, मैं बचपन स्कूल चालू करूँगा, अभी जाऊँगा तो. लेकिन मैं कहता हूँ कि you cannot have only one model and he succeeded doesn't mean I will succeed the same way. And some success, like any other way, has a lifespan. Idea has lifespan, like the medicines have. And therefore, we must actually try to reinvent and look around the world. That's why I was saying, keep your eyes open. To be a successful entrepreneur, your mind should be open, but more importantly, eyes should be wide open. And once you look around the opportunities are lying everywhere. There is one business has died, doesn't mean new 1,000 business will not be born. And that's the beauty of nature. You always see there is, like, for example, your vice chancellor was in the US, he left a very lucrative job and came here because he was wanted to serve the society more than making more money. And he will tell you in US, they'll call it fall. First time I heard that word, I said, why US has fallen? What happened? There's a fall in US, somebody told me. I said, what happened? What, something fall? So fall season, when all the leaves fall, they call it fall. But interestingly, when fall season comes, there is nothing on the tree, barren. Then comes winter and now we think, oh, trees have died. And suddenly spring comes and everything comes to life again and we are suddenly same thing, same tree. In a matter of months, it has changed. That's what is a beauty of life. Something is dying and something looks like died, but there is something else which is coming up. So in entrepreneurship, you should always know whether it's a springtime or a fall time or a winter time. You should try to understand what business will work at what particular time. And that's why I'm saying eyes open and mind open. I think if you do that, business has tremendous opportunities. But my little bit selfish advice, again I'm contradicting, I say don't take advice, but my selfish suggestion, if not advice, suggestion, is that always do something which is going to help the society. And you'll find it interestingly that what is good for society will always be good for your business. You'll be always just try to see any successful business anywhere in the world, there is something correlation with the society. If society benefits, what is society? Is a marketplace. What is society? Is people. And we always want to sell something to market. So if society is not benefiting, how can the product be successful? So I think you must therefore make your business idea relevant to society at a particular time. And societies are changing. Like the season is changing, societies are changing all the time. Mind changes, habit changes, thinking changes. So you must always attune yourself and think about that. But entrepreneurship is the only way we can go forward, maybe even social entrepreneurship. In any other areas, entrepreneurship is needed in all areas. And that, what is entrepreneurship, etc., you have no more than you can teach me one day because you are learning it. But I'm saying that's one thing you should always be looking at. As I was saying, education is not something which I'll speak to you because you are already getting it. But I will tell you that India right now is positioned either by way of divine desire to really move in a very different and very positive direction. The world is, because for there's no choice. In altitude, you must always remember one thing. We are no friends and we are no enemies. That should we always remember and keep it in mind. Everybody has their own priorities. Everybody has their own interest. And when the interests converge, you feel we have become good friends. But it's not friendship which is coming out of love for you or to help you, but to help themselves. And there's nothing wrong in that. That's the reality which even Chanakya had said. So this is the reality from time immemorial. So we should try to, therefore in today's world, it's conjuring in a way that their interest lies in India's promotion. People are scared of China. wary of China. And also their interest clash, because now China is no longer the China that it was in 1949 when Mao did his long march. Today China is a different country altogether. So US is worried about now. In fact, the other day in the US Congress, and your leader in leadership, and he's right because he's leader as well as a dean of leadership. So he'll tell you in the US, they have a real very intense congressional hearings wherein they really grill all the administration, including the ministers. So they go and they are to be deposing before the Congress. So one of the top generals of the US Army told the Congress Defense Committee that China is becoming so advanced in technology that it will take some time for us to catch up in terms of military technologies. So China is a cause of worry for everybody. That's an advantage for us. Europe is going down, and this was going down for a long time. And that's also law of nature, because once they thought that we'll rule the world, and they actually did. A very small country like Portugal, which is one of the poorest country in European Union, was one of the strongest country in the world once upon a time. Their currency was a reserve currency once upon a time. Nobody will believe it today, which is now the US dollar. So it's law of nature that Europe is going down. The Europe is going down. US is also in a serious problem. Today there's a debate going on in US as we speak about a debt ceiling in the US. Because now Congress is controlled by the Republicans, the House is controlled by the Republicans, that's their, like our Lok Sabha. And now the Republicans always believed in austerity. They felt that fiscal conservatism is necessary. And today the US has 126% of public debt to GDP ratio. 126%. So US is also in trouble. When you have so much of debt, where are you going to do these adventures into Vietnam or in Iraq or Iraq 1, Iraq 2 and all different Iraq 10? It not will happen anytime now. So in that situation, India has a great advantage. So we must leverage on it. We must work on it. We must make sure that Band India increases and improves. And all of that can be done by people like you.